So for Unit 1, Day 7 notes, this is the last day of notes in our packet. Our goal is to solve for x in absolute value equations. And hopefully you understand that when you have absolute value, it's measuring a distance, which means you cannot have a negative answer or a negative solution. So first thing that we do to solve is we want to get this whole section by itself. So to do that, we will do our opposites. We're going to subtract 2 and get the absolute value of x equals 9 minus 2, which is 7. Now, I know, we're going to write it twice, that x could be a positive 7 or x could be a negative 7. And these are my two answers, 7 and negative 7. I can put a comma or an and symbol or the word and. I just cannot put parentheses, because if I put parentheses, it would look like an ordered pair. And this is not an ordered pair. So same idea in part B. I tried to mirror them, so like this one is like this one, C is like D, so forth and so on. So to get this part by itself, you're going to subtract 4. And you have the absolute value of x equals 2. So we could say x equals 2, or it can equal negative 7. I'm sorry, or negative 2. So you could put 2 and negative 2. Okay, down here for letter C, this is already by itself, this whole section, the absolute value part. So we can go ahead and set this equal to 10 as our first problem. And we can take that same green part and we set it equal to negative 10. Okay, so if I solve this one, we get x equals 6. If we solve this one, two negatives add to be a negative 14. Okay, so in this case, my answer could be 6 or negative 14. In letter D, I see if I have my absolute value section by itself, and I do. Nothing is around it. So I can set this equal to 19. And I can set it equal to negative 19. So you have to understand that you have to make two equations every time. One is going to be the positive, and then one you're going to change it to a negative. Always the last number, never inside of the actual equation here. So if I subtract 7, we get 12. If I subtract 7 here, we see that we have two negatives, right? So if we add two negatives, we get negative 26. So we can say x equals 12 and negative 26. Okay. Now, E and F are pretty much the exact same thing. It's just that they're a two-step, because here we had 1 in front of x. We didn't have to divide. But here we have a number greater than 1, so we do have to divide. So I'm going to take 2x minus 5 equals 7, the positive, and then that same thing, 2x minus 5, and equal negative 7. I solved this two-step, so I would say add 5, 2x equals 12. If I divide by 2, x is 6. Here, if I add 5, 2x equals negative 2. Divide by 2, we have negative 1. So we could say x equals 6 and negative 1. Okay. I'm going to pause here and go to another video for the last 5.